Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Team Fortress TV for Fully Charged, where we'll be covering off the ETF2L 6v6 Winter Showdown, week number 2 for the Premiership Division. My name is Lucky, and so I'm joined by JMaxchill on production, and we have Wandum and Surny joining us. How's it going, gents?
Hello, it's me. I'm just here to fill in because people couldn't make it. That's the only reason. No, actually, no. It's because Lucky was begging me. He was in my DMs all day, begging me to come on to help out with this show.
Victory. Wouldn't have anyone else. And Wandum here, of course, here to give his very bad takes and everything.
I just watched the clip again of Habib driving in the snow. That's why I have tears in my eyes. It's one of the greatest TF2 clips of all time. You should go watch it.
With no TF2 involved, just TF2 streaming.
It's just Habib in his car, man. Holy shit. Give that man
crazy.
Yeah, give it to him in the blizzard.
Is it the blizzard?
Right. So, I think, without further ado, we don't really need to talk too much, but who watched week 2? What do we think, gents, just in general? Was it a good week for Team Fortress 2? Was it alright? Was it bad?
I just watched all 3 games on my stream earlier today. Shout out, go subscribe, please, I'm broke. And I'm gonna be honest, my attention span was having a rough time for a couple of the maps. I think this week we had both Snakewater and Gully Wash. And with the new rule set, Snakewater and Gully Wash can be, there are more exciting games of TF2 to be had than these maps. 5 minutes on the round timer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had Gully Wash in 2 of the 3 games we have played, so we didn't have the only game that we didn't have played this week. So we'll start off with that one, I guess. Is SHADOWWIZARDMONEYGANG versus NOOBPANZER, who have not played yet. And they'll be having that game in week 3. Yeah, it's sad. Surny, who do you reckon between these teams is going to take the big fat dub?
It's a match I just want to see in general. Honestly, if the Wizards can play to a crazy level, it could actually be a toss-up. Realistically, it's going to be NOOBPANZER, though. They're going to win. I'm just going to go with the safe option on that one. But I can see it being a little close, at least for part of the series. I wouldn't be surprised if they put up a bit of a fight. Mac team can actually pull themselves together for a bit.
Maybe they can get in Piggle's head, end his life a few times, and you never know. Things could change. Mac could get on top of him. Wan, any similar opinions? Or
I think I think we talked about this in the last episode, which is up on youtube.com/TFTV or something, or whatever it's called. Where this is the same circle jerk with 2 teams, and I think all of the better players from that circle jerk are on NOOBPANZER, and the other team has all of the other players. So I would favor NOOBPANZER pretty heavily. I think at the moment they are a candidate for top 3 in Prem, and I think the Shadow Wizards are not. They are probably a candidate for maybe potentially making playoffs. I still don't think their week 1 game inspired too much confidence in their ability to take it to the top teams, but maybe they'll get that. I don't know. Maybe Mac just be the GOAT. I mean, I don't know.
He's won Prem once.
Yeah, he has indeed. We've actually got the things up on the screen for you, ladies and gentlemen, so you can see the current standings that we're going to run through for you. But Comedy Shorts Gaming, 4 losses there at the bottom, but we'll get to that at another point. But we'll look at our very first game that we're going to cover off that actually did get played. It's TF2 Easy versus SVIFT. And we had 2 maps. We had Gully Wash, which was a 5-0. It's TF2 Easy. Absolutely smashed into the dirt. If you want to, we do have a clip. I don't know if JMaxchill has it loaded yet, but about how it sort of went in general. We have a clip of the very, very first mid. So game opens up, and this is what happens.
You just have to admire the confidence from Impo here going onto this mid. Immediately stickies his own drop down, and then Nubby just bombs in and kills Elpo instead. It's the most tragic mid of all time. He pulls out his sword as well. He just completely gives up. I think this clip tells the story of this game so perfectly, because Impo is just in prison. It was so sad to watch. You know it's bad when he starts off the very first round sticking his own drop down. That's when you know Nubby's in his head. Because then the next mid number 2, he rolls out back. Instead of sticking his drop down, he stickies his own choke and blindly pre-fires pipes into it because he's expecting Nubby to bomb him. Who obviously doesn't bomb him, kills his entire team instead. They lose the mid again. They spent, I think, 50% of the total time Gullywash just sitting in their own elbow. And yeah, TF2 easy mids on Gullywash are pretty good.
Yeah, they are indeed. I mean, Poi really struggled to get up on the mid. Like, Naspo was just battering him into a corner the whole game. It felt pretty hopeless the whole time. We were like, well, this might be an early night. This might be the quickest cast I've had in a little while. And it was a very, very fast cast. Sonny, did you catch this game at all? But any real surprises in this Gully Wash map that we have at TF2 Easy?
I watched back the VOD and caught some glimpses of it. I don't think anybody will fault me for not watching it thoroughly with how much of a of a role at least Gully was. I mean, it slowed down a bit on the second map. I guess TF2 Easy were going easier on them, or they struggled a little bit more on Sunshine. I guess they don't really like the map as much as well. And then maybe Swift stepped up their game ever so slightly. Who knows? That could also be part of it. But yeah, it was obviously like an absolute role, and keeping your attention for all that. Yeah, I'm surprised you managed to.
Yeah, I mean, the Sunshine map was very, very slow. I did speak to a member of TF2 Easy after the game and asked about, like, did you find it a little bit difficult? Was it that you don't like Sunshine? And they just said they generally dislike the map. They think it's, to phrase it, a shit map was the words that they used, but I personally disagree with that. Yeah, who knows? But they said that they're not exactly bad at the map. They just don't like it very much, and they don't play it that often. So I don't know if that constitutes them being bad at the map. But here we are. We do have a couple clips from that map actually. Of there was a little bit of fight back. Like you said, it was 2-0. Got a clip from Danny who had a nice little clip on this. So yeah.
Just a big play. You know, this one's going in the end of season frag video.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the one. That's the money shot.
Peter's watching that and frothing at the mouth. Yeah, in front of him.
Yeah, he's gagging to get hold of that clip already for the end of the season, and I'm sure Danny is. But while we're talking about Swift as well, we did have Gregory leave the roster, and I believe Poi has now joined the roster due to team drama, effectively. So yeah, they have found their medic. Although I don't think Poi had a very convincing first official on the team.
Hey, it's a tough team to get into. You're getting into what is, at least right now, the worst team in Prem. They're all newcomers for the most part. They don't have that much experience. They're gonna have a rough experience, and then like you have a roster shakeup like this on a rather important role too. I mean, Gregory was with the team for a while. He was played in for a bit, so it's a bit of a shakeup, even if there's underlying drama and whatnot. Like still, you're coming into a team fresh, second week. You didn't even have time to like preseason scrim or anything. It's a tough role to step up to. So the fact that Poi's decided to take that upon himself at all is already commendable, in my opinion.
On top of that, you have to play against Nubby and Nasboy.
Yeah.
Your first official with the team as well. It just doesn't make it any easier, right? Like, when you have Nubby just kind of destroying you. I mean, TF2 Easy's flank, I still feel like they've lost a little bit of star power. I think Yeehor is a much more kind of standard by the book flank scout compared to what Gazzy brings, which is just an amount of chaos that I think allows TF2 Easy to do a lot more than what they're currently sort of showing in their officials. I think, I'm going to be honest, like there's a world where the Gazzy, whatever he decides to do on the Sunshine, has a way to sort of science themselves out of stalemates that we did end up seeing on this map. And yeah, I mean, I don't think you can stress Poi too much for this one. Been with the team for like, I don't know, like a week, under a week. Has to play this official, like even played this official as a Merc, because they weren't even approved by ETF2L yet, so it's kind of like, I think you have to wait for next week to really be able to truly compare.
Yeah, to see what the kind of damage was, but Gregory, you did see the stats previously, but Gregory has slightly better stats, but that's probably because played more games in Prem, a little bit more experience, that kind of thing, so, and more team cohesion, like you mentioned, but it ultimately ended in a 2-0 to TF2 Easy, so they did take the full 6 points from the official, and you can see it in Nubby's gameplay. That man absolutely owned the entire game. I would say MVP most likely. He just gave his life for it. We did have another clip of Nubby just getting absolute frags all over the place as well, but he was kind of like, I don't know, he's the linchpin for most of their games, it felt like, of him just making space, doing stuff, and just having a good time.
It's like he's the best player on the team.
almost like he was the best player on the team. Like, my God, this guy's he's having a good time so far. But yeah, any unexpected results that you think here, guys? Or was it very, very standard? You thought TF2 Easy going to win it anyway?
I'm surprised it took them that long on Sunshine, to be honest. I think considering the team discrepancy, they should have been a 5-0. I guess if TF2 aren't as comfortable with it, then it kind of makes sense. And when you're stalemating a lot and you're missing one of like 2 playmaking players on your team that you had last season, you're just like, I think in a lot of ways solely relying on Nubby now to be that X factor. It's it's what's gonna end up happening. But I think off of this performance, we see TF2 play Sunshine against any of the top teams, then maybe there's something to be worried about a little bit.
Potentially, yeah. All right, moving on to game number 3. We had Company Shorts Gaming versus Witness, which is Gullywash and Bagel. Witness won 2-1 on Gullywash in a close series, and we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Surny, that casted that game. How did you feel watching?
I didn't cast this game.
Do you not cast this game?
No, I did not.
Did, and who did then with him?
It was Beater and Epley, I think.
It was Epley. Oh, I thought it was you. Oh, I lost my mind then.
The Beepley.
The Beepley. Anyway, yeah, it was a 2-1. It was a close series. But the map may have been a little bit close due to one certain medic dropping an Uber and having a little bit of a gig and lag spike in the middle of the game as well. We have a clip of Ams just on Spy trying to backstab Auto. It's quite funny. We thought, ladies and gentlemen, that we should show this one to you. So, just look at this. Oh my god.
Ams wants to get that stab for the life of him. He's almost about to get it. And then, unfortunately, he just kind of warps away. But luckily, pistols are still in the game, so he manages to pick him up. There was such a free demo man kill he could have gotten there as well, which also would have been pretty big, and probably would have been a safer play. But thankfully, Ams cares about the viewers and goes for the hero play, and double pistol. It's nice from him to sort of clean up. A little bit of an L from Witness for not killing a spy. Anytime a spy gets to shoot 3 revolvers, it's kind of like, where's my team? AFK, hello, Toe? You got one job. You know what I mean? But like,
they're all watching Choke while they distract for that spider running and gun down their med, and Auto's lagging like a robot in the server, just trying to call for help but can't because he's warping all over the place. But yeah, relatively close series on Gullywash. What was that whole stuff that happened at LAN with Witness banning off Gully? We should have had Pappy in here, that or Domo or something, telling us why they don't like Gullywash.
Domo is in chat. So if you could just give us a message about why this game was so slow. I want to give a shout out to Tiger. It feels to me like Tiger is by far and away the best player in CSG, and it's not even close, which is weird because I didn't expect the difference to be that big compared to the rest of his team. But he seems to be the sole playmaker for his team a lot of the time. You saw the one Ams spy play. I expect Ams on Scout, especially now that he's had a season to kind of come back into it. I expect him to be one of the best players in Prem. That's the standard that this guy sets on the Scout role as a team leader. The way he combines with Condog is so big, but Tiger was far and away the best player on the team on both of these maps. It's nice to see for Tiger, but I'm looking at some of the other names on CSG that we know can step up. Fancy had really big performances in playoff. Ams can be that player as well. Not quite there yet. Hoping to see more in the future of these teams.
They've had a rough week. Rough couple of weeks actually. Rough start to the season. They went up against 2 of the best teams in the season back to back already. They're having a tough start, right? It's not easy to go through. That I think the same thing actually happened last season as well, right? They went up against Witness and TF2 at the first 2 weeks as well, or something like that. So they're always getting shafted with the scheduling. They never get an easy start into the season. They always have to immediately get into the difficult matches. It don't help. It certainly don't help. But it is commendable. It is interesting, remarkable how Tiger just comes back after not playing for 3 years and just immediately pounds and becomes the best player on his team again. Says a lot about the inherent skill that guy has.
Very, very true. And also, you can sort of look at the difference between having Soapy Meister in that week versus having Tiger in this week. It's like night and day. Going up against the best team in Prem and stuff, and giving it a good shot and stuff on Gullywash. But yeah, overall, I would say as well that Connor had an uncharacteristic lower number of deaths in comparison to the other medic of Auto. In that game as well, but Thomas, holy god, 37 frags. That's an ungodly amount of frags to get in Premiership. That man is an absolute machine. But Bagel was a 3-0 to Witness, and we do have some logs for you to all look at as well for that game that went down. A little bit more of a slap in the face.
If you guys like watching weird, confusing TF2 where everything's happening all at once, watch this Bagel game. Because I watched it. I think most of the people in chat watched it, and I have no idea what happened. It was
Same.
all 3 rounds were really close, and everyone was dying all of the time. And Thomas got 28 frags, then 400 DPM. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it is what it is. And that's
Yeah. What I will say about this game that interests me the most is that Auto got 14 deaths in this map, and they still won. And they only had 8 Ubers to Comedy Shorts 13. Yeah, he was dead a lot. But I will say that from what I've seen, Witness do have this play style of, in the past, when they played with Moolah, where if you lose your medic, it matters a lot less. Because you can just continue fighting and, you can end up having even Ubers, even if you lose your medic to an Uber if you're defending the point kind of thing. So it can work out pretty well. And clearly it did work out because they won 3-0. And they are just immune to Uber charges from the side of CSG, all in all. But yeah, very convincing game, I would say, but very confusing at the same time, like you said, one.
I think I think that there's a big caveat here as well, is that Auto was kind of lagging a lot.
The Warp King.
For a lot of the series. And it kind of made it, I think, a lot harder for him to stay alive. There were a couple drops, especially on Gully Wash, that kind of made it closer than it probably should have been. Yeah, I mean, hopefully British Internet is obviously world renowned for being incredible, and hopefully next week it's back to its usual state of not being laggy.
Indeed. Anything? Wishful thinking. Anything else anyone wants to say about this matchup before we move on to our game of the week?
No, it's I expected outcome. I mean, I don't think anybody expected Witness to not win, but I guess it's surprising how close it still was in some regards for CSG. They definitely put up a decent fight as best they could. I think that's all I can really surmise it about.
Yeah. Our last game, which is the game of the week, ladies and gentlemen, because we started doing this now. We're going to pick a game between us guys and decide which one was the best game. And it was definitely Nati Noot versus 4Fence. Now, any of you haters out there for Nati Noot who put him in F tier, who are channeling Sun Tzu's energy, took points off the French team they put in A tier.
Who was that dumb caster last week that said that the Frenchies might lose some points to Nati Noot?
Oh, who was that?
What was that guy's
caster?
name? He's such an idiot, man. Why would he
such
say
an
that?
idiot? Yeah, why would he say that? God.
I don't know.
Very, very good game. Nati Noot played their goddamn hearts out. They did not care. They went to town on the French team on Snakewater. There was a few things in that cast where I was watching it like going, oh my golly god, Nati Noot are doing it. There was a clip, there was one part where we should have got a clip really, of Playgrave running in and just battering people and choke and just destroying them, and just good fights here, there and everywhere, outplaying them left, right and centre. It felt good for Nati Noot, so going forwards, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do against the other teams.
This game felt like 100% scout diff. I'm going to be honest, I kind of talked about it last week. French scouts weren't that convincing. There are so many times where Juxta dies because QB or Alien missed like 3 shots in a row. Like there's a point on Sunshine Lost. They did end up winning the map, where Nati Noot gets to fire like 5 rockets at Juxta because QB just decided not to play Kovacs today. It's so weird and confusing. You look across on the other side. I've never rated Lanza Scout that highly, but I think he was playing really good. Hexari as well kept getting in behind and just getting these random kills. And I mean, I think a little bit of scout diff.
Yeah, I mean, I casted that game, and I even realized it during the game. Like, Nati Noot, as opposed to Swift, who went up against the Frenchies in the first week, right? They did such a better job shutting down the soldiers as well. They did such a better job shutting down Brugman and Rons, which is like the thing you talk about for the French team, right? That's like their playmaker combo, those soldiers. They still got a lot of plays in. They still did a lot of work, and obviously on the second map, they had a bit more free ground to work with. But they were shut down so much more. Lancer and Hex were on top of those guys a lot more frequently than the Swift Scouts were in the first week. And I think that made a huge difference. And that's why Nati were able to take a map of them in the first place.
This game, watching it, honestly, it felt like I was watching Ron and Brugman in Elo Hell. because like these guys, they were still like, yes, they're getting shut down, but they're still playing so well. There's so many insane bombs from both Runs and Brudgman, and the two of them together, where it felt like these guys are clearly, they were so like clearly outmatching Nati Noot and Rifleon, but it just didn't matter because the rest of the team just wasn't really there for them. In a lot of ways, like these guys were playing so well, not quite there.
Yeah,
Which is
we've
a
got
bit
the logs
unfortunate for those
we've got the
guys,
logs
'cause
on
they
the screen.
were owning.
And holy
These
play
logs
great
don't show
carry.
it. These logs don't show it because it's a 30-minute granary game with 4 rounds. But like, trust me, these guys were owning, and unfortunately, the rest of that team was not. I feel like you look at Delhi and you expect him to have a huge impact. He was just kind of there. It didn't really do crazy amounts of damage. Got caught out a lot actually. And it was just, yeah, it was a bit unfortunate for his French team, because I think they can be really good, but they are lacking at the moment.
Yeah, indeed. We did have some funny clips from this game though, which I thought we should maybe include. And we have a clip of Forced taking it to the man, going toe to toe with a certain French man himself on the last point, which I thought was quite funny. Yeah, this oh wow, this if this doesn't end up in Beater's frag video either, I'll be very upset. But here's the last push.
It is beautiful.
Weird, it's such a weird push because it's not very good.
Yeah, it shouldn't have worked at all. This push was like an absolute disaster all the way through, and then somehow they just come around, like kill all the players that are on the point waiting, and then Faust just wins the 1v1 on like 9 HP.
I mean, incredible how many shots was that from Red Scout?
Yeah, that was like at least like an entire clip.
I don't want to hop on these French scouts too much, but like once again, like dude, he's 9 HP. Just like you don't even have to click on him. Like just like next to him, you know? Like bullet spread kind of still exists. Like come on, like you should never win that. That's honestly that's scout beef.
Yeah, big MVP for these games though. Definitely play great. Top damage on the team, both maps. Did it insanely well. Lots and lots of damage. This guy is an absolute machine on Demo Man. And we've also got a clip though of something Playgray did that was maybe a little bit bad. He tried to do a patented demo sack into last. Now channeling a little bit of that Cadus energy, but in sort of the wrong way.
This clip is one of my favorites. I enjoyed watching this so much when I saw it. He's 130 HP, bombs into a pyro. Gets the force anyway. Like he gets reflected up into the air, and somehow at 130 HP he still manages to make Juxta pop because he hits the first sticky.
And then force drops super to an air shot.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter because Faust still drops.
And he's the king, and I'm telling you, this guy, he's in loser queue right now. There's nothing he can do. It's Gaben's fault.
It's Gabe's fault. It's not the ETF2L admins for sticking him there, but you know,
it's actually Yoshi's fault. He's not even admin anymore, but he had a hand in this. DCS? What the fuck, man? Why are you doing this to him?
Yeah, God, man. There's Playgray on the screen for you, ladies and gentlemen. That man, absolute machine. I'm excited to see what more he does in the future and Nati Noot going forwards. But what I will say, I did get a chance to speak with Faust after their games, and he used them along the lines of, we are hyped as all hell. We're ready to take on any team that comes at us. We're going in with nothing to lose, and we're going to get some goddamn points on the board. So, Nati Noot, they've got good morale. They don't care. They know that other teams fear them. Not in the sense of they're scary, but in the sense of if we lose to them, we're going to look bad because we put them in F tier on the tier list.
Are they the true dark horse? Are they the true dark horse?
100%, definitely.
Incredible.
I think they're really good. Like honestly, a lot of these players are like stepping up really big. Playgray had really great games. Their scouts really good as well, especially Hixari, impressing me a lot. And, I think honestly, like situational awareness of being aware of times where he can just randomly go in and two-shot the enemy med. It's really good. I'm big fans.
Yeah, look forward to the new forwards. Surny, any closing remarks for this game that we had?
I mean, it was a fun as hell game to watch. I'm very happy for Nati Noot as well because they're really stepping up as Wanda said. Like most of these dudes came straight from Div 2. They placed like second in Div 2 last season, and then they're just suddenly thrust into Prem. Not only did they get through Flick and ended the 2-season-long Flick era, they're also now making waves in Prem, taking maps off of teams that they probably shouldn't, and yet here we are. So I feel like if these guys stick together, we're going to be seeing a new era unfold, the Nati Noot era of Prem.
You've nattied your last Noot era, Noot. I want people screaming Noot in the chat every time they win a round, basically. That's what we're going to aim for. But we do have week 3 on the horizon, so we've got Shadow Wizard Money Gang versus NOOBPANZER coming up, because they did not play in week 2. But then also we've got Shadow Wizard Money Gang against Comedy Shorts Gaming. Now this is a interesting matchup. Any thoughts, guys?
I think if Tiger plays as well as he did last week, or this week rather, technically last night, if he plays as well as he did last night, I don't think this is actually that close, to be completely honest. If they have that much, it should be a little bit of soldier diff. I'm not gonna lie. I think the scouts on CSG should be better as well. The AMS factor, I don't know. Maybe Mac is in the kitchen, cooking up some stuff, pretending to be, I don't know, like Alan DeCass or something. Cooking up some spicy, crazy plays. Haunts is now telling me Chris is playing this instead of him. Okay, I got scared for a second.
Is Tiger playing Haunts, please?
Tiger and Chris on soldiers. Guys, this is a 5-0 for Shadow Wizard Money Gang. Yeah,
well, depends on the maps, I guess. Just put like an ounce of copium in there. Yeah, no, I agree. I think CSG should have this one in the bag, realistically. But I don't know. I haven't seen too much of the Wizards yet. Maybe they step up a little bit. I don't know. It's tough to call in that regard. I think unless they step up in significant ways, I don't think I see them even like taking a round. Maybe they can do that, but
they take rounds. I think this is one of those games where like I think they'll get rounds, but like I think it's gonna be like 3-5, 3-5, something like that. Like there's no way this team doesn't get rounds, but I don't think they'll be able to convert either map.
Yeah, you never know. Mac might have had his Wheaties and he might hit all the pipes in the universe.
I mean, yeah, that could happen. I could find $1 million on the floor tomorrow. Who knows?
You could. Then you can host a tier 2 tournament for 100,000 at least.
I would not do that. To be honest, no way am I do that.
Anyway, moving on from that as well, we have 4 Fence versus Witness Gaming. I mean, I think we're all going to be in the same boat about how that one's going to end.
I think this is the easiest game of Thomas's life.
True, it's not like he has to worry about the enemy scouts, right?
This is the scout diff you've been waiting for, Wandum. You've been on about it.
Oh my god, dude!
In both in the preseason show and
Thomas versus these guys, dude. This is the freest Witness Gaming clip or game I've ever seen. Clip me saying that right now, and then play it back next week with like funny circus music over it when they lose. Because Runs and Brudge are kind of the goats, so maybe it's fine, but it's not fine.
Maybe somehow Otto's internet gets even worse, and that causes Witness to lose.
They have to play with Condog, and it's just too hard.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? I reckon that Witness Gaming, regardless of what happens, are going to end up with a Koth map. And then that will just be a fat W when it doesn't, because you meant matters less.
I mean, there is the Amazon product, which
there
is
are no Koth maps?
Which is...
Oh, because they get
no
Koth maps, don't they?
This is GG.
No free map.
GG. Never mind, 4 Fence victory either way.
Yep. Alright. Next matchup is Nati Noot versus TF2Easy. Any Nooters in the chat?
I believe.
Why?
They'll take a map.
Okay. I'm going to be realistic here and say they might even have close maps. I think in the same way that when they played against Witness, there were 5-0, 5-0s, but they took like 25 minutes, both maps. It's probably something similar vibe. I think there's I'm going to be honest. I think the Soldier... I think specific... I want to say Soldier diff. It's just Soldier diff. Soldier demo diff. I think Plague cannot stand up to Ness, and I also think Nubby might just...
Rude.
Run them over.
Newt. What was I going to say about this this matchup between Nati Noot and TF2Easy? Do you not want to see Lanza kill Moral Alexi and taunt and then break the mental of the entire team? Is that something you want to see?
Oh my god, I would love there are few people in the TF2 community that are more satisfying to see tilted than Maralexi. I'm just gonna be honest. Like this guy, he came into my chat today and complained about Swift not being able to push when they're sitting on their own last holding it. For like 15 minutes, they're holding their own last. Sunshine comes into my chat. He's like, dude, this would have been so much more exciting if Danny knew how to push. I'm like, what the fuck, man? This guy.
This guy, what a guy. I was going to say as well, like, you'll be able to tell, like, the future matchup, what we're looking at here, because SVIFT have just played Tier 2 Easy, and we've had the speedrun splits from that one. Now we get to see the Nati Noot comparison speedrun splits to see which team is better, you know? And if they get the same, like, you know, the same times, we might have a good game on our hands. You never know.
I mean, we already know Nati Noot is better because they have points, and Swift doesn't.
Exactly.
They took a map off of the team that Swift couldn't take a map off of, so by definition...
points?
CSG?
Yeah, exactly. CSG. We put those guys in, like, A tier, no?
I think we did, yeah.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, these casters, they don't know what they're talking about.
No idea what they're talking about, honestly. I think we cast a cursed Nati Noot into the best Prem season of their lives. That's what we've done. Even though I was like, Nati Noot are goats. Oh well, what can you do? And the very last one that we have is NOOBPANZER versus SVIFT. Look, all I've got to say is that NOOBPANZER looked great in the one game that they played already. And I'm a big NOOBPANZER fanboy. I reckon they're going to batter SVIFT into the dirt. And there's not going to be an ounce left of them by the end of it.
I think this might take a little bit of time. If SVIFT put up the same amount of resistance they did against TF2 Easy, then we might have, like... I think the games might still be one-sided, but I don't think it'll be 5-0s. I think this might just take a while. I think you look at NOOBPANZER. I think maybe it's a little bit harder for them than TF2 Easy. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe Shockey's back to being the GOAT again after, you know, I don't know how old he is. Very old. He's an old man.
He's a very, very old man. But yeah, that should be an overall pretty good matchup. I'm excited to see what kind of happens this week with these games. I believe our production has just whipped out the tier list that we made.
Oh my god!
Dude, we just done that? Oh my god! He's so quick.
How do we?
He's so speedy.
Let's take a look at this tier list. Actually, I think 2 weeks into this, I think it's time we can pretend to make some modifications.
Review the tier list.
Can we add like a tier on top of S+ and put Nati Noot up there?
Oh, absolutely. The Noot tier.
They're like a league of their own. I think they belong higher.
Yeah.
So higher point than C tier.
So as far as I'm aware, we did put these in like order of like where we think they land. So we put the top team in A tier has dropped a map to the bottom C tier team.
I want to preface that by Demul was in the call at the time and being so French about it as well. So I think this is entirely French bias. I think AMS as well was really hyping them up, and it was really confusing. Because then, literally the next day, they like 5-0 them in scrims. So I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. I think at the moment, I'm gonna be honest, for fans, at least in my head, these guys are a big tier team.
Yeah. I agree.
I think honestly, for me, at the moment, it's Witness solely in S tier. I think you put Forfence down in B tier, and then you take TF2 Easy, put them in A tier, and you kind of you got the setup. Nai probably gets either they get the C tier for themselves, and Swift goes to F tier, or they just get put up in B tier, and that's up to the viewer to decide how fraudulent they are.
Indeed. Well, week 7, Nati Noot plays Swift.
This is the
so
best
we get
we have
the
so
best
much
matchup
time.
of the
last
season.
Week.
The best match of the season at the very end of it. Oh my god.
Oh, come on, man.
They really saved it for last.
I'm gonna be old and knackered by the time that series happened. Literally
old and grey is what we're gonna be.
It's never happening.
I guess we'll have to wait and see, ladies and gentlemen. Right, anyway, that should wrap us up for this Fully Charged podcast, number 58, I believe is the one we're on. But any shouts you want to throw out there? Yeah, I think JMax is, I'm not. Surny, you got any shouts you want to throw out there?
Just watch the games. guys, that's my shout out. Be sure to watch all the wonderful games that are going to be happening this week. I mean, apparently there's going to be 5 of them, and because Wizards and NOOBPANZER didn't play last week, so we're going to be seeing that as well. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun week, I feel. Probably lots of rolls, but maybe they're going to be funny.
Shoutouts to the Danish Meteorological Institute for telling me that there'd only be 4 millimeters of rain today and getting it so horrifically wrong. I was outside for 30 minutes and completely soaked.
Why'd you go outside?
Shoutouts to Ignis.
Shouts to Ignis. Shouts to JMax for producing, obviously. Man's a bit of a legend, coming in and doing this for us and betting his scrims like me. But yeah, wonderful guys. Thank you. Shouts to you, Surny. Shouts to you, Wan. Shouts to Badjuju and Faust and Nati Noot's team because they are absolute slammers. Shouts to the Tantrum Mumble. You know who you are. But yeah, that will be all from us, ladies and gentlemen. And we will see you for week 2. Watch the goddamn games. Tune in here at TFTV for the games.
Also TFTV 2 sometimes, but not TFTV.
Sometimes that one.
That doesn't exist.